flies out at like 8 o'clock every night.
Subscribe now to join us on our epic 75-day road trip across America.
Hi everybody, I'm Laura and this is Pollyanna Pugalina. This video is going to share the scenic points that we stopped at on the lower loop at Yellowstone National Park, which is part of the bigger Figure 8 Grand Loop. Now, just to drive that lower loop actually takes almost 3 hours, and that's not factoring in any stops along the way. If you want to drive up just the east side, it's almost an hour. Well, sweet little Polly is the perfect co-host for this because, like most national parks,
Little
dogs
Polly's
really aren't
not allowed.
many places, but they are allowed to do scenic drives. They're allowed to go anywhere a car can go, and in fact, dogs at Yellowstone are allowed to go within 100 feet of the road or the parking area. So there are many different scenic points where you can actually take your dog along with you because they're right on the road. But do keep in mind that dogs are not allowed on any of the trails or boardwalks. We were camping at Coulter Bay Campground, which is in North Grand Teton National Park. So we entered into Yellowstone through the south entrance.
All right, wave.
That's it, just a dog.
I would definitely recommend going to the left, which would hit the west side of the lower loop. But since we actually did that the previous night, we opted to go right up the east side and then come back down the west side. Now, Old Faithful is to the left on that west side. So if you want to check that out, you can watch our previous video. So not too soon after you get onto that Grand Loop Road and turn right, you're going to hit West Geyser Basin. We honestly didn't know much about it, so we kind of just kept driving by, but actually it looks amazing. It's really cool because there are geysers and hot springs like right there on Yellowstone Lake. So you can walk across this boardwalk and you've got hot springs, geysers, Yellowstone Lake. It must be amazing. I've only seen pictures now, so next time we go, it's definitely going to be a must-see. So our first official stop was Yellowstone Lake, because as you can see on the map, the Grand Loop Road follows right along Yellowstone Lake and you get some amazing views and even quite a few turnouts where you can stop and take in Yellowstone Lake. We also noticed there was just a little scenic drive off of the Grand Loop Drive called Gull Point Drive that we decided to check out, and we're glad we did.
Gull.
It doesn't take that much time to do those alternate routes, and there's quite a few of them along that lower loop. So I recommend if you see a little road off of the Grand Loop Road, just check it out. Trust me, it's gonna be cool. Not too far up the road from Gull Point Drive is Lake Village. So we just go, drive around, check it out a bit, and stop in that adorable store right there that we stopped to get some snacks and drinks. Next stop is LeHardy Rapids, where we park at the LeHardy picnic area, and they have a really nice, just short little trail with a really pretty boardwalk that follows the Yellowstone River, and it takes you from the picnic area to LeHardy Rapids. It was just a great little stop for, getting out, stretching your feet, enjoying some views without taking too much time.
Now it's really getting to the rapids here.
At the Yellowstone River, these beautiful rapids. They cool though?
On our way again on the Grand Loop Road, we happened to come across just a few of the thousands of bison that live here at Yellowstone National Park. We actually encountered quite a few bison already on this trip, both at the Badlands National Park and in Custer State Park. So if you'd like to check out those adventures, you can see them in our South Dakota playlist. And if you'd like to follow us on this epic 75-day road trip across America, please subscribe. And if you subscribe, leave us a comment so that I can get to know you a little bit better too. And now back to that scenic loop. Right, Polly? I think she's ready for a scenic drive.
I think this is your first mud pot.
Night one.
It is. It's cool. Look at that. See, look at all this geothermal activity here.
Next stop is the mud volcano area, where it kind of feels like you're going back into medieval times, and there could be like a dragon lurking around any corner. It's just so cool, the gurgled sound of the mud pots in the mud volcano.
That is so cool.
And then when you get over to the Dragon's Mouth Spring, it sounds like there's a dragon in the cave. It is just the coolest thing. I feel like this is a definite must-see on your Yellowstone trip.
It flies out at like 8 o'clock every night.
And then right across the street is the Sulphur Caldron, which has just a little viewing area right by the road. And so because that's within the 100 feet, you can take your pooch out and they can kind of get a little exercise and see some scenic spots with you.
Look at this giant mud pot.
Whoa, that is really cool. I don't know if this is the biggest one at Yellowstone, but it's definitely the biggest one we've seen.
Mud pot in the world.
So what are you gonna name this mud pot?
Bud. Hey!
You wanna sleep in a mud pot? Oh, bless you. I think you're allergic to mud pots. Oh, she's a pug and a chihuahua mix.
Oh, okay.
So Alexis, what makes that stinky smell?
Rotten egg people go in there.
No.
Next stop is Hayden Valley, which is known for the wildlife sightings.
So I decided to stay in it, but these two are out and about. Check out some swans, bison, and something else. Don't know what it is, but so yeah. They're just kind of staring.
Next stop is the upper falls of Yellowstone River, which is also part of the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. It is just amazing. We check out the view from the upper falls viewpoint area, and I hate to admit it, but I didn't quite get at the time that that's why they call Yellowstone Yellowstone, because of all the Yellowstone there in the Grand Canyon of Yellowstone. So if you're a little quicker than me, I'd love to know you do that. Tell me in the comments. Or maybe you were a little more oblivious. Let me know that too. Well, as you can see, there's tons to do in this whole canyon area, and we just barely touch the surface. So I would say you could really spend a whole day just in this canyon area, maybe even a few days. We did make a stop at the Canyon Village Visitor Center because we wanted to get a Junior Ranger book for Alexis. Now, Yellowstone National Park was the only national park that did charge for their Junior Ranger book. It was $3, and it came with a really nice patch. But because the other national parks had badges, we really wanted to stick with the badge theme. So in the gift shop, they had that really cute star badge that we had gotten for Alexis. And a fun bonus, there was snow in the parking lot. This was our first time ever playing in the snow in the summer.
Polly's eating the snow.
Here, Polly.
She's probably thirsty.
Norris Geyser Basin was actually a stop we planned to make, but the parking lot was completely full. By this time it was later in the day, it was on a Saturday, and this was in June, so things were just starting to pick up with the summer crowds. So I think if we had started earlier and gone to the left in the beginning, we would have been fine with the crowds on the west side. The artist Paintpots, that was another really cool area that we would have liked to check out, but again, full parking lot. Since it was getting a little bit busier, we weren't quite sure where would be able to stop for the rest of the day. But we happened to find another little scenic drive off of the Grand Loop Road
Oh, this
called
is the
Firehole Canyon Drive,
Drive.
which ended up being a really cool scenic drive that went right along the Firehole River and ended up at these beautiful Firehole Falls.
Look at that one there, honey.
Wow, look at that. That's really pretty. Let's get up and zoom right
We
here.
got this amazing photo of Alexis. It looks like she's hanging out on the edge of a cliff here in Firehole Canyon, but in reality, there wasn't at all a drop off, but the illusion in the photo is pretty cool. It's a fun spot to give that illusion that you're sitting on the edge of a cliff. The Lower Geyser Basin is the last of the 4 stops that we would recommend making that we didn't stop at if you're doing the lower loop here at Yellowstone. Next up is Midway Geyser Basin, which was the highlight of our day because this is where Grand Prismatic is. And it did not disappoint. It was absolutely gorgeous. You can also do another trail that will take you to an upper viewpoint of it, but we just stayed on the boardwalk. The whole boardwalk was just beautiful, and at first you pass through Excelsior Geyser, which is big and blue and beautiful. So let's just go to that footage from Midway Geyser Basin.
Really pretty.
I can't stand it.
Look at that interesting. Oh, those are people's hats in there.
Oh, is it really?
I was like, look at that interesting rock with the polka dots.
That's horrible.
Pretty the fluid. It does look like a coral reef. Beautiful blue. And prismatic, almost there.
Last, but definitely not least, is the Upper Geyser Basin, which is where Old Faithful is. Now, we did make a quick stop there just to see if Old Faithful was going to spew anytime soon, and that was not the case. But luckily, we were there the previous night, and we were able to see Old Faithful spew in all of her glory. It was just amazing, absolutely magnificent. So you can check out our previous video to see that. So let me know what you thought about this video in the comments, and also let me know if you have any fur babies at home. Polly loves to hear about fellow fur babies. It's too bad you can't put photos in the comments. That would be so fun. And on that note about fur babies, it is definitely a little trickier planning a trip to a national park with your dog, but it's not impossible. You just can't really do many of the trails or if any of the trails, but there are so many scenic drives and scenic lookouts that you can still experience the national park with your dog. Well, we hope you enjoyed our tour of the lower loop of the scenic drive here at Yellowstone National Park. If you'd like to follow along on our epic 75-day road trip, please subscribe. And again, let me know who you are in the comments if you decide to subscribe. Thanks for watching.